Doctor Who Frontier in Space, the 17th story of the Third Doctor, is written by Malcolm Hulke and starring Jon Pertwee and Katie Manning. First of the Dalek War duology, which is pretty epic. When a lot of episodes were removed in 1978, Part 1, 2, 3 and 6 were only found as black and white. So in 1980s, the PAL phase-altering line copies were brought back from Australia. So the Earth cargo ship C982 flies through hyperspace with TARDIS bumping into it. The Doctor and Jo arrived inside. Jo didn't want to go back in the TARDIS after the almost space accident. So Hardy and Stewart went to meet the Doctor and Jo. While Hardy sees the illusion of Draconian, Jo sees the illusion of Drashig, which is pretty effective. So later on, the Doctor and Jo gets locked up in the cell. Meanwhile, Madam President and Draconian Prince were confused why they think they attack each other. As the Doctor and Jo gets to meet whoever's breaking in, which reveals to be Ogron's breaking in. The Doctor and Jo tried to make a run for it, but the Doctor got stung. Later, Jo is back in the cell, waking the Doctor up. Apparently they took the TARDIS. The Doctor tells Jo that Ogrons are doing a dirty work for someone and not necessarily the Daleks. So the Doctor and Jo helped, Hardy and Stewart. The rescue team came in. The Doctor tells them they're passengers, but Hardy and Stewart tells the rescue team that they're traitors and they work for Draconian. Uh-oh. The Doctor and Jo try to convince them that they don't work for Draconians, but they get taken to the cell. Jo tries to figure out the plan, but the Doctor shuts her up, saying the ship is already going to Earth. And Jo works out that if her and the Doctor finds out what is going on, who's working for the Ogrons, where they're taking the TARDIS, go and get it back, and then go home. So later they get taken to Madam President. The Doctor tries to tell her that they're not working for Draconians. Apparently there's another race attacking Draconians and humans have been duped. General Williams doesn't believe them and orders the guards to take the Doctor and Jo away. And I love the moments where the Doctor tells Jo the story about him getting mind probed, as he told the Medusoids that he's looking for giant rabbit, a pink elephant and a purple horse with yellow spots. So the Doctor and Jo again gets taken to Madam President, but we get an awesome fight scenes outside. The Doctor gets taken away by Draconians and Jo is taken away by the Earth Guards. Jo tells Madam President that the Doctor was kidnapped by Draconians, but General Williams thinks the Doctor has been rescued. As the Doctor is in Draconian Ambassador's office, they think the Doctor is working for General Williams. Oh crikey. So Earth people are blaming Draconians, and Draconians are blaming Earth people, and both sides are blaming the Doctor and Jo. As the Doctor does his great Venetian karate, he escapes, but he gets recaptured by the Earth Guards and taken back into the cell. While the Ogrons are hallucinating themselves as Draconians to battle Earth Guards, and they broke into the cell where the Doctor and Jo are, they get taken to Earth Guards attack and recapture the Doctor and Jo again. They filmed it near the Hayward Gallery at the South Bank. It has been hard because there was few homeless and drunk people lying around. So Paul Bernard, the director, got the stuntmen and actors playing the Ogrons to ask them to move to continue filming. General Williams suggested to Madam President to use a mind probe, so it happened to the Doctor. He gets asked, how did he get on the ship? Is he a member of Draconian Secret Service? When do they start a war? The Doctor tells the truth, but General Williams doesn't seem like he wants to believe it. So the Doctor woke up from the probe with Jo wearing a bathrobe. As the Doctor gets taken to Madam President again, he tries to tell her the truth, but he gets sent to Lunar Penal Colony, and he doesn't get to say goodbye to Jo, which is a sad scene. So the Doctor and prisoners in blue bathrobes are standing in line. Patel started to make friends with the Doctor. Cross confiscated chocolate from Patel, which is a shame. I like the bit when Cross called the Doctor troublemaker, and Cross is like, I will remember you. So the Governor tells the prisoners how it works in Lunar Penal Colony. So after the Doctor goes in uniform, him, Professor Dale and Patel are talking about the escape plan. Master came into Madam President's office. Brilliant scene.
Madam President, this is indeed a great honor.
He convinces her to hand him the Doctor and Jo for their crime. So the Master gets Jo to go with him. The Doctor and Professor Dale sneak to the airlock so the Doctor can tell the journalists, broadcasters, even friends in the government the truth. They get their overalls on, but the oxygen pack are empty. As Cross locked them inside, he dials the controls and the air was running out in the room. Pretty intense there. Jon Pertwee is brilliant as the Third Doctor, my favourite classic Doctor. I do love Katie Manning as Jo Grant, very likeable companion, and I do love those two together. Their chemistry are one of the best things about the era. Raja Delgado is brilliant as the Master. What can I say that hasn't been said already? Sadly, that's his last story as the Master because he died in a car crash in Turkey. That's one of the reasons why Jon Pertwee left, as they were good friends, which is understandable. John Woodnutt played Draconian Emperor, who's in charge of Draconian Empire. Peter Beryl played Draconian Prince, the Emperor's son. Lawrence Davidson plays Draconian First Secretary, Draconian's Prince Assistant. Draconians are a peaceful reptilian humanoid race from the planet Draconia, and I love those races. I'd love to see them return. Jon Pertwee picked them as his favourite monster because the rubber and latex masks allow the actors to show facial expressions, and I do love the Orgrons, the mercenary races that does a dirty work for their boss. Vera Fusek played Dora, who's the president of Earth in that time. Michael Hawkins played John Williams. No, not that John Williams, the one who's known to do music for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Superman, etc. No, he played a character called General John Williams, a military officer who's against the Doctor, Jo and Draconians until the last couple of parts. Harold Goldblatt played Professor Dale, who's the Peace Party leader, and because of his protesting for war, he got sent to Lino Penal Colony. Madhav Sharma played Patel, a new prisoner in Lunar Penal Colony, carrying chocolate who made friends with the Doctor. Dennis Bowen played Prison Governor, who's in charge of the colony. Richard Shaw played Cross, who's also a prisoner. John Reese and James Culliford played Hardy and Stewart, the cargo ship C982 crew. Louis Mahoney played newscaster who's worried as he reports the war between humans and Draconians. Lewin Peters played Sheila, Madam President's assistant. Originally they were going to have a scene where Madam President tells Sheila how she met General Williams just before the Draconian War, but they cut it out because of the time, but the actress is still credited, which is nice. It's also great that they brought the Daleks in at the last part, the same props they used in Day of the Daleks. The cast did a fantastic job. The sets, effects and prosthetics are amazing. I love the music by Dudley Simpson, it's so epic, I listen to that soundtrack a lot. So the Master opened the airlock room to rescue the Doctor and Professor Dale. They both are placed in the cell for a year because of the attempted escape. So the Master convinces Governor to let the Master take the Doctor because of the list of his crimes. So the Doctor goes with the Master, he gets back into his outfit, goes into the Master's ship, and the Doctor is locked up in the cage with Jo. Nice reunion. The Doctor uses a gold wire to damage the lock and tells her how the second Doctor became the third Doctor and how he's exiled to Earth working with Brigadier at UNIT, which is the event of the War Games and Spearhead from Space. After the Master is in his office reading War of the Worlds book by H.G. Wells, Jo goes on about her life story and the Doctor gets into his spacesuit. He goes outside the ship to get to the flight deck. The effects is nicely done for its time and low budget. After Jo tells the Master that the Doctor is asleep, Master realises something isn't right. So he picks up a gun and went to the cage and realises the Doctor is missing. So he threw Jo into the airlock, demanding the Doctor to give himself up. So the Doctor came back to the cage, disarmed the Master, but then Draconians arrive. They lock the Doctor, Jo and Master up to be taken to Draconia for violations. So while the Master is relaxing, he sends a distress signal to the Ogrons to follow them to Draconia. So a new theme, as I mentioned, in Carnival of Monsters called Delaware Theme by Paddy Kingsland. That was used in Carnival of Monsters Part 2, but also got used for Frontier in Space Part 5. The BBC executives didn't like it, so it was restored to the original Delia Derbyshire's theme, although it's still there in the early edit and used for VHS release. So the Doctor, Jo and the Master gets taken to the Draconian Emperor. The Doctor tries to tell the truth, but then the army of Ogrons came to attack, and after the Master and all Ogrons except one left, Draconian Emperor sees the illusion of Earth God, but then he realises an Ogron the Doctor is telling the truth, so he allows Ogron to be shown to the Earth authorities. While the Master is mad at the Ogrons, Jo gave an Ogron a banana, which is amusing. The Doctor and Draconian Prince are at the flight deck trying to contact Earth people. The Master pretends to be one of them, but the Doctor wasn't fooled. After an Ogron escaped and attacked, he got tied up. The airlock opens and a group of Ogrons kidnap Joe, so eventually the Doctor and Draconian Prince arrive to Madame President and telling her what happened, so eventually they believe the Doctor and Draconian. So the Doctor, Draconian Prince and General Williams plans to go down to the Ogron planet. The Master tries to hypnotise Joe again, but she sang nursery rhyme to resist. So the Master uses the illusion device to get Joe to see Drashig, Mutant and Sea Devil, but she denies them, so the Master got an Ogron to take Joe into the cell. As she's given her food, she uses a spoon to dig herself out. Meanwhile, the Doctor, Draconian Emperor and General Williams and Earth Guards got into the ship. Joe sends a signal to them, but caught by the Master, which apparently...
It's a trap!
Yep. As the Doctor, Draconian Emperor Williams and Earth Guards came to the Ogron planet, they're about to get attacked by Ogrons, but they ran from the Eater. So the Master arrived with the Daleks, which is a fantastic scene. It's actually pretty scary.
Quite a touching little reunion.
So as everyone are in the Master's lair, the Daleks wanted the Doctor to be exterminated, but the Master suggested to keep him alive so he can watch the Earth getting destroyed. So the Daleks agreed. The Doctor fixes the device so he gets Ogron to see the illusion of a Dalek, and I love the Ogron face. It's pretty funny as the Ogron ran to the Master and told him what he saw. The Doctor, Joe, General Williams and Draconian got themselves free. General Williams and Draconian ran off back to the ship. The Doctor and Joe confront the Master and Ogrons, and after a fight with the Master and Ogrons running away, the Doctor fell on the floor with his head bleeding. Him and Joe went back inside the TARDIS and dematerialised, so the Doctor decided to send the distress signal to the Time Lords.
Traffic circuits. Sending a message to the Time Lords.
Leading to Planet of the Daleks. The final scene, they were originally going to have giant Ogron eating monster. Paul Bernards didn't like the costume, so instead they had the Master and Ogrons running away from something. This is also Paul's final Doctor Who work. So that's Frontier in Space, and I love it. Every second of it. It's one of my favourite classic story. It's absolute class. It's one of Peter Capaldi's favourite as well. What did you think of Frontier in Space? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks people as always for watching, and see you in the next video.